Hey, welcome everyone to book study week 3, chapters 5 and 6. Today, me and Trina are leading this and we're really excited. So today we're starting at the end of section 1 and merging into section 2, but they kind of do link. So section 1 is really going over your personal leadership, and then section 2 branches off into leading others. And so the last section of that, we're going to start with a little interactive fun thing. So I want you guys to tell me, what is the best gift you've ever received? And now I actually don't want you to be like the love of Jesus. Like, I want it to be like a physical thing. I don't want it to be like someone came and cleaned my home. No. What is the best physical gift you've ever received?
I would say, oh, do you want us to answer out loud?
Yes, answer out loud. Yeah.
Okay. I was invited on a holiday that was paid for years ago, but that was like
Okay.
pretty amazing. It was awesome. You didn't have to pay for anything. So good.
That's a good gift. Nice. Okay. Anyone else? Best gift ever? Okay, I wasn't going to show you this, but I'll show you what my sons bought me for my birthday this year. I don't know if it's the best gift ever, but I'm having the most fun with it. And I don't have tea in it. It's an automatic tea pourer. And it looks like a bird on a tree. And then you put the leaves in here, and then it's magnetic. And so you do this and the water comes through. I would never have bought this for myself. If you know me, I don't like gadgets. I don't like things on my counter, but they were so proud of this. That's my most recent gift. We'll leave that there. That's my most recent gift. But can anyone not think of like an amazing gift you got? You're like, yes.
I would say I got a necklace for Christmas one year with little pendants. It says grandma on it, and then it's got little pendants of each of my grandkids, representing each of my grandkids on it. So that was really special.
Okay, I was just going to ask you, why was it the best gift?
I don't know. It represents my grandkids. I love them, and they're all special in their unique way. And yeah,
That's so good. So good. Lisa, can you think of one?
Well, last year I got a mug. It's got a Ukrainian like embroidery pattern on it, and it says Baba at the bottom. And my son and daughter-in-law gave it to me, but I totally didn't clue in that it meant they were having a baby. So it was like a really exciting gift, but I wasn't smart enough to quite get it.
So now it's special to you because
yeah, now I have a little grandson who was just born a couple months ago.
Nice. So I want to tell you, does anyone else have one that comes to mind? If you think of one, you can share it. Trina, do you have like the best gift ever? Have you thought of?
For me, I think, gosh, I feel like there's so many gifts, right? Like there's so many blessings that we can think of. And but I'd have to say, just the opportunities that I've been given here in the last few years. And I feel like because of those opportunities and that I've been able to kind of create some of my goals and some of my dreams. So I feel like it was a gift I didn't really know I was being given until kind of like, it seems like, things get revealed to you in time. And so I feel like I've just been able to provide and, work on my goals, get towards my goals in life, personally and professionally and things like that. And so I feel like that's the gift, and it just keeps giving, because that's kind of why it's the ultimate gift for me, because it just keeps giving in so many different ways for me and my family, and my dreams and their dreams. So that's kind of what mine is.
That's good. Thank you so much, Trina. So I want to show you now, before we get into this. At the time, I thought the worst gift I'd gotten. So when I was 16, my grandmother bought me this. And I opened it and there's actually a picture of it and I'm doing this. And my mom took a picture and put it in her album. I lived at home at 16. At 16, my interests were, let's see, sports, boys, and I worked. Like to be honest, like that was my thing. I loved my job and I worked a ton because I had big goals and I was trying to pay it for a trip to Germany in the school and I wanted to buy a car, like all these things. So I did nothing but work and sports. Like that was at 16, that was the pinnacle of my life. And I got a rolling pin. I was like, okay, fun. So I put the rolling pin away for like 8 years. And then I moved out and I had a box of stuff and I pulled it out. I was like, oh, I live alone now. I should start, or I live with, I was married. I should start baking. This is now my favorite thing. If you would buy this exact 100% marble rolling pin, it'd be like $150. You can get knockoffs on Amazon. I checked this morning for cheaper, but they're not 100% marble. The other thing that I realized is we were chatting about this rolling pin and I had said to my mom, I think it's weird that at 16, my grandma bought me a rolling pin. That was the first gift she'd ever bought me. And she said, your grandma was never allowed to buy you birthday presents because of your grandfather. And he had given her money to come to the city. She was with my mom. She was here on my birthday, lived in Saskatchewan, to buy something else. And my mom said, I will buy you the other things you want because I know you really want to buy Shelly a present this year. And she saw this and she thought, you're going to become a beautiful young woman one day and you're going to move out and you're going to want to bake. And she really, really wanted to buy this for me. This is now probably the most precious physical gift I've ever received. One, because it's an amazing rolling pin. I've been at friends' houses and using wooden and plastic things. I was like, what are you going to roll with that? Right. But also the story behind it. At the time, I did not appreciate it because I was 16. I hadn't baked cinnamon buns in my life. I helped my mom bake cookies, and by help, I mean, I liked to do the dishes after and I like to decorate them. But I wasn't into that. This wasn't my thing. I didn't appreciate it, but I was given the most precious gift. So thinking of that, your success in Plexus partially will depend on your ability to see and communicate network marketing as the gift it is. So many of us come in with drama, and me and Trina talked about too. We're not going to repeat what he said and bring up the good points. It's good. It's simple. You can read. We're not going to go through that. But what we really want you to understand is this: your ability to communicate this and believe it in your heart. That's what's going to get people on board. A lot of people have drama with network marketing. I had drama with network marketing. My last experience was really bad. I've had really bad experiences with people trying to sell me things, all this stuff. It's just, it has not been good. And so then you approach people like this. You're like, well, like, I kind of have this opportunity, or like, it's like, it's not for everyone. Like, it's just totally not for everyone. It's not for everyone, right? Are you going to join someone that you're like, oh, can I make money at this? Well, like, I'm not really, but some people can. Like, whatever, like, I'm not entirely sure. Like, are you actually going to do that? Right. And for some reason, we're scared to be excited. Now, I just want to give you an analogy. Okay. So Lisa just said, this is perfect. Lisa had this rolling pin and it broke. So now Lisa's like, Shelly, I know she wants one of these rolling pins. And she's like, I don't have $200 to buy a rolling pin. So let's say I'm at a thrift store. I'm at More Than Just a Fad. I was there last week. I love that place. And I see this rolling pin for $10. And I go to Lisa's house and she tells me her rolling pin just broke. Can you imagine if I was like, well, I don't really want her to know I go thrifting. I don't know if she goes thrifting. What if she judges More Than a Fad? What if she knows More Than a Fad is associated with street women? What if she thinks I used to be a street woman? I don't want her judging me and thinking I was that. Maybe that's why she thinks I support it. So I'm like, no, I'm not going to tell Lisa about the rolling pin. And then Lisa, a year down the road, was like, I still can't find a rolling pin. I was like, actually, like a year ago, I saw one at a thrift store. She'd be like, why didn't you tell me? I would have gone to buy it. Like, right? Like, if you think of it that way, it's ridiculous that people need money and they need help and we're afraid to tell them. And I'm like me, I'm people. I am all of the people. I'm so afraid, and I have been so afraid. And I listened to a message. I scrolled back to someone I did a business ask to a year ago. And literally this was me. I was going to play it for you, but my son had to take my other son to an emergency appointment and he needed my phone to navigate. But I was going to play it for you. And I'm like, so like, I saw your post and I'm new to Facebook and social media and like, I kind of love social media, but I'm kind of doing this business thing. And I sort of saw that you're struggling and like, I feel so dumb sending this and please don't judge me, but do you want to do this kind of thing with me? Because maybe we'd have fun. And anyways, I don't know if you do, but like, let me know. She's probably like, what are you asking me, woman? Like, what are you asking me? But can you imagine if I appreciated the gift and I went to her with that? So are you sold on the value? Like, that's the question. I'm going to ask that. But very briefly, Brittany Howard, if you're not sold on the gift that not just Plexus is, but network marketing, because there's two things. There's Plexus and there's network marketing, right? And we always say Plexus does network marketing the way that could and should be done, but rarely is. Brittany Howard has a really good podcast. And again, I can't scroll through the podcast on my computer. So on my phone, I'm going to look it up. And she goes through like why network marketing is actually really good. And like the very practical. For those, I'm looking at some practical people here that like knowledge and like information. She breaks it down and it's really good. I was trying to think of the points. I know one of them is unlimited potential. No matter how much you could pay, you could be getting paid $100 an hour. You can physically only work so many hours in a day. At some point it maxes out. Network marketing doesn't have that, right? It does not have that. You literally could be getting paid $700 a day and working 2 hours or $700 an hour. It can keep growing if you know how to do this, And she makes other points. So your job is to be like, to research and to find out if you're not fully sold on network marketing, if you're not approaching people excitedly, you are never going to go anywhere and you've got to figure out what's holding you back. So we're going to spend the next 15 minutes. We're going to open it up. Let me just check my notes and make sure I said all the fun things I wanted to say. Yes. First, page 74. That's the one piece I'm missing. And then I want you to start thinking while I'm sharing my last story. Are you sold on the value of network marketing? Are you sold on the value of network marketing? Are you sold on the value of Plexus fully? We're going to be answering that question out loud and honestly. Hey, Tara. But I was reading this chapter and I loved the examples and I'm like, I'm sold on network marketing. I have belief in myself. I have all the belief and I was feeling really good about myself. And then I read page 74 and I was punched in the stomach. And so I'm going to quickly read that for you. This is an interview between Craig and Keith, or a conversation. Craig, Keith, when it happens for you, when it really happens, when your first million comes in, because that's Keith's big dream, to make $1 million a year, how are you going to react? He says, I don't think it'd be a big deal. And Craig's like, what do you mean? Well, I know what's going to happen. There's not an ounce of doubt in me. It's like it already happened. So it just won't be a big deal. And I'm just like, is your level of belief that much? Like, is your level of belief actually like, it's not a big deal. Like, I know I'm going to get there. Like, because I think we say things, you guys, our head and our heart, there's like, that's the longest foot in the world, in my opinion. We can say things, and we do this all the time. We say what we know we're supposed to say. And then it's like, sometimes you'll excitedly tell a friend, oh, I have this feeling, or I have this thought, or I get it. And they're like, yeah, you've been saying that for years. But you're like, yeah, but it wasn't real. I was just saying it out loud. And all of a sudden there's a connect and your heart goes, bam, I get it. Have you had that moment of belief where you look in the mirror and you go, Melinda, you are going to be Emerald one day. Lisa, you are going to be Emerald. Have you had that moment of belief? So we're going to open it up for about 10 minutes. Do you get the value of Plexus? Do you get the value of network marketing? And do you have the level of belief that Keith has? And we would like you to share on any one of those. Go ahead. I will call on you, Paige, if no one else like, oh, Melinda's going.
I was just thinking about that as you were reading it. And I mean, he had the level of belief and he knew it would happen one day. And his actions are going to determine how quickly, right? His actions, what he does every day, is going to be what determines how quickly he gets there. And that just kind of stood out to me about, okay, he knows he's going to get there. He has a level of belief that he needs. And it's just the actions have to follow, right? And I know that's kind of where I'm stuck at. needing my actions to follow.
But that's so good, Melinda, because again, if I was working 3 years ago, like I'm working now, was I would probably be, well, I would be so much farther. Who knows how far?
Yeah.
But I've had all these lies and all these like Penny talked about last night with the balls. Like I had a lot of those. I had a lot of belief issues, and I told myself a lot of things. I'm not going to hustle like them because they're all hustly, and hustly is yucky. And I'm just going to like trust God and he will bring me people, right? Like I had all kinds of things and fears. And like you said, so now you have the belief, so the actions will follow, and how you do the actions consistently, that's going to determine when you get there. We could all get there. Do you want to be 95? Like, I don't want to be 95 walking across as an emerald for the first time. It would
And
be
I'm older than you are.
right. Like, I'm just like, I could be 100. That might be fun, super cool. I would like to do it younger. I think younger would be fun, right? I might enjoy cruises and trips better at 50 than at 105, right? So that's a really good point. So you have the belief, and now what do you need to get the actions, right? And typically it's when your belief and your desire for the thing finally outweighs how hard the action is, right? And I think of the health and the weight loss journey, because I think we can all relate to that. You gain a couple pounds, it's not a big deal. You're a little bit sick, it's not a big deal. You don't want to get healthy because it's time and money, right? So you're like, here's time and money, and here's your health. It's not that bad. It gets a little bit worse, and you're like, well, it's still time and money, and it gets a little bit worse, and it's still time and money, and it gets a little bit worse. And I still remember, after saying no to Plexus for 5 years, the day I said yes, me and Lisa actually had gone to, what was that exhibit at IMAX? Or at the, it was a Marvel thing, I think, for the kids. And we had a fun day, and we took pictures, and walking had never been an issue. And I was finally tired, and I went home and I looked at the pictures, and I was like, oh my gosh, I've gained so much weight. I don't feel good. I'm not happy. Like it was the moment that I'm like, it has to change. I don't feel good. Right. All the things in that. And it's like one moment, like your scale, time and belief. And then all of a sudden it's like the actions. Yeah. Okay. And then you do the thing you need to do to make the change you need to make. And you have to figure that out in your business. If you're not doing things, ask yourself why. What is the belief? What is the problem? What is the thing that's holding you back? Your scale's like this. How do you get this? How do you put enough here to tip your scale? So that's so good, Melinda.
I was just thinking about his comment, like when it really happens and that first million comes in, and I think about like the physical, right? What is the most amount of money that I've ever seen in my bank account, right? Like I think at one time, because it was only me and I didn't have a family, I didn't have kids, I like lived on the bare minimum. It was like, I don't know, $10,000 to $15,000 sitting in my account. And I was so proud of that and so happy. And so to me, it's like, can I picture more than that? Do you know what I mean? Like, can I picture seeing like 7 or 6 figure, like a comma in there? Can I picture seeing money with a comma? Can I picture $1 million? I don't even know what that would look like. I don't know. But when it comes to like earning trips and things like that, like I can sit and visualize that. Like I can smell Hawaii from here. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I love that. But I mean, when I think of the money and I think of whatever, I just don't know what it looks like. I don't know what it looks like because I've never gotten higher than a certain amount of money sitting in my account at one time, if that makes sense.
That makes so much sense, right? I remember when we sold and bought our house, there was a couple of months of a time lag. So we sold and we had the money, but we didn't pay for the house yet. And there's all this money, there's 6 figures in this one account, and you're like, this is mine. And then it evaporates, right? You're like, and there it went. That's really good, Paige. Yeah. And I think it's important to visualize that. He talks about visualization, I think, in this or the next chapter. It's important to visualize that. It's important. And I think Trina will be talking about that. Anyone else? Lisa, Tiara, Rachel, do any of you want to share before we move on?
Sure. Sorry, I'm in workout mode, but I'm gonna pop on here anyway. I just wanted to say this convention, I had a moment, and it sounds funny after years when you're working on your belief and you're convinced, but I think I've always had a disconnect between like one day I'm gonna get there, but I don't know how or when. So there's no like urgency. It's like I'll just do these few things every day and eventually it'll just somehow get me there, right? And then I had a moment where like, what if I could actually be Emerald next year? What if I could actually be here at this place? And then I was like, okay, what is that going to take? How hard am I going to have to work? What's going to have to look different? And it started to actually feel real, not just like one day I'm going to get to Emerald and do the things, you know, like, oh yeah, I believe I'll get there. But that's not the same kind of belief as like, I want to be in this room, you know, I want to be on the stage, or I want to have the perks of being an Emerald at convention next year. Was just like a very, like that moment that he talks about, right? Even though I think a lot of little moments build up to it, right? Sometimes that switch happens overnight, but it's only a result of like a couple years of building my belief, right? Right? All the work you do comes up. So I think I had a moment where it actually felt like everything connected, like the belief, but also the actions and everything that takes to get there, to be like, I know how to do this, not just I'm waiting for this to happen as I do a little bit of IPA, but I'm gonna like blow this up in a different way. If that makes sense.
It does. That's that head heart connection we're talking about. That's so good, Rachel. Thank you so much for sharing that. Oh, and I also miss Kelly because Kelly's with Melinda, but Kelly, Tara, Lisa, do any of you want to share how this feels? And like, you can be honest, you can be like, I'm struggling to sell the value of network marketing. That's an okay thing to say. Like, own it, admit it. When you say it out loud, your brain then processes it differently and puts it into action in a more concrete way. So if you have a thought of negativity, this is the place to share it. This is why we're doing this, so that you can share it, get it out there, and then we can move on.
I was gonna share a little bit about that belief and stuff like that too. And I find with this chapter especially, it always hits me in the gut because I realize I'm in my own way. And it's just literally a decision for me to say, I'm doing this, right? With all confidence and all belief in myself. And he makes it so simple in terms of like, this is a gift that you've been given. You give it to others, you share it. If others want it and want to run with you with it, great. If they don't, that's okay too. But knowing that you are going to do this regardless of who it is that joins. You know, like he even said, like I talked to everybody, all of my people, and it was very, very simple. And I keep reading over actually what he said to people because it's so simple. Like I overcomplicate things, but he simplified it. And I actually want to find it because it's just started by can't remember if it's in, but he just basically just like literally was inviting people to come along, and that's it. Right? If you want to check it out, right? And so then get on a call and do those things to get together with them and chat with them about the opportunity and stuff like that. So I find a lot of times, like, I always think of the person at the coffee shop that's going around offering coffee, right? They offer coffee to everybody because that's just what they offer, but they don't get upset if somebody says no thank you, right? But they're still going to offer it. And so it's just it's an offering of a solution. It's a gift, but I really truly understand more so now than I ever have that people have to be ready to receive the gift. Like just like Shelly, she wasn't ready to receive the gift for a while. I took a little while too before I was ready to receive the gift. And then once you're ready to receive the gift, then you take it and it becomes something in your life, right? So timing is a big thing too. But what has also helped kick me in the butt a little bit has been when I have let fear kind of take over and I haven't offered and I haven't had those conversations. And then I learn people have joined and they've joined and they do the business. And then you're like, oh, I was going to talk to them, but I was too scared. And so there's been a few moments like that for me where it's like just a kick in the butt, right? Where it's like, why wouldn't I have just said it? The worst thing that can happen is they say, no, thank you. Or, some are a little more rough around the edges than others. And that's probably what we fear the most. But at the same time, I feel like that's God's way of saying, they're not meant for you. They're not meant to be with you. And they're not going to take that baton and run with you. And that's okay. He sorts our people for us. But we have to be the ones putting forth that belief in ourselves that we're going to do this, and we're going to invite people to come along. If they want to come, great. And if not, maybe later on. So that's something that's helped me.
That's so good, Trina, taking the drama out of it. And we did admit, and when we did this as leaders, we went through this and we're like, he's a man. Men have less drama. We dramatize it all. And so we have a lot of feelings and emotions, and guys are like, do you want to, like, I've heard Fred say to people, I'm doing this thing. My wife makes me do it, but it's really awesome. It's blah, 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 blah. Do you want to do it? No. Okay. So anyways, blah, 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 where we like make it mean something it was never meant to mean. So we have to take the drama out of it. And if you are asking the question and someone says, no, it's not about you. It's not about you. Don't make it about you. Like, we're very self-centered people. Don't make it about you. Just, that's it. Don't make it about you. It's not about me. I'm just going to move on. So before we move on to chapter 6, one last call. Anyone else want to share? Do you see the value and what's in the way of your belief, or do you have the solid belief?
Yeah, sorry. I was asking my mom what the question was because I was gone for a little bit, but I would say like the value, I see it and I believe it's there, but I'm often held back by fears. I shared a little bit about some of that in the chat the other day, but another thing that I realized last night as I was talking to my husband about his first message, he was kind of asking what he should say. And I started realizing that I was like speaking my fears into what he was messaging. And all of a sudden I was like, I need to stop talking to you and telling you what to say. Because I was realizing that I was putting my fear of what the other people will think about it into what he was saying. So like, yeah, realizing that every time I message someone, I assume their perspective on what I do as a business, which holds me back from just freely sharing about what makes me so excited.
That is a huge, important point, Kelly. I found that with money. I had drama about the money. And so everyone did. And I'd be like, yeah, I know it's kind of pricey, but like, don't you kind of think you're worth it? Again, who's going to buy that? But when people would say, like the last person said to me, it's kind of pricey. I'm like, have you ever gone to a health store or naturopath? They're like, no. I'm like, where do you get your vitamins? They're like, Costco. I'm like, yeah, $200 is expensive for vitamins. That's not what I'm selling. I'm not selling you vitamins. This is what you're getting. This is what it's going to do. And I talked about what they were going to get, how they were going to feel, the support, the group, the accountability. And I'm like, there's some companies that literally you have to pay $40 a month for recipes and workouts. Like, that's just one tiny thing that's totally free. Like, you're getting this whole package. And when you believe in it and you see it and you understand it, I hardly get a cost objection ever anymore because I so fully believe it. And when I do, I very quickly dispel it. I'm like, if you're saying this is too much money, then, and you don't want to get your products paid for because it's the easiest thing ever, I'm thinking you're not ready for this journey. And I spin it like that. I'm thinking you're not ready because most people have $200 in their budget. They just don't want to put it into health because Friday night going out for supper is more important. Movie night is more important. Cable is more important, right? Like Netflix, people don't have cable anymore. Netflix is more important. Like all of these things, if you took away a whole bunch of essentials, it would be very easy to come up with $200 a month. Very easy, but they don't want to. And that's okay. And I always tell people, there's no shame in that. It is okay. Message me when you get there because your health's not bad enough yet. When you get there, I'll be here, right? Anyone else? And then we will, oh yeah, people are travel, like all kinds of things. Like I laugh at the people. This one gal was like, she does not have money. Every Saturday night, they have 3 kids, 2 parents, so a family of 5. Every Saturday night, they go to BP's for supper and then go to a movie and get popcorn. That's probably $400. I haven't done the math. It's probably really expensive. $300. That's easy. $150. Yeah, like it's expensive, right? Like the money's there, but they're not going to buy the value if you don't. Like probiotics and I did this because I had drama with money. I went to a health food store with the list of the probiotics. And I said, I need this probiotic. And she brought me one bottle. And then I said, I need this probiotic. And then there was two that there was combined in one. I'm like, then this has enzymes. She brought me 6 bottles because Dr. Jessica said that on a live and I was still in my skeptical, I don't believe this face. So I went and checked. Each individual bottle was $40 to $80 a bottle at 6 bottles, right? Yeah, Lisa, 1 fancy coffee a day for sure, for sure. So anyways, I get bad at rabbit trails. I'm supposed to shut up now. It's Trina's turn. But if you have an issue, be honest about it. Tell your upline, talk about it in book study, find a podcast, get over it. Because if you don't get over the issue, you can't bury it under a carpet. This is the time to say, where are my beliefs stopped? Where do I not see value? And how do I get over it so that I can translate that to other people? That's chapter 5. And Trina, chapter 6, take it away.
Okay, so then we actually end up going into the next section, which is leading others. So this is the first chapter of this section. So it just lays out what you have to do to attract, identify, and eventually mentor leaders. So basically what I wanted to focus on with this chapter is, and what really stood out to me was just approaching your business with 3 things. Of course, faith, enthusiasm, and then of course, action, the end of it all, right? So faith in yourself and your business, faith in the product, the ability of multi-level marketing to work for you, right? Faith that you can build this with or without any potential distributor. So you're not relying on someone else to be there in order for your success to be there, right? And that was a huge piece for me, because there's nothing worse than chasing people down, but then feeling that you need them to sign up, like that desperation. Because there's, at the end of the day, there's nothing better than them knowing you would love to work with them, but you don't need them to be successful because you're going to continue, sharing your gift and sharing this gift with other people, right? So I want to take a moment to ask you, where are you at with your faith in yourself and in your business? And even in that mindset where, do you feel like you come from a place of desperation? I definitely have in the past, struggled with that. And I still do from time to time because it creeps in, right? And I think the biggest thing we need to remember is that those negative feelings are going to come in, but we just cannot let them derail us, right? We want to make sure that they don't hold us hostage. They might come and present themselves, but then we dismiss them and we move on and we, continue to kind of realign ourselves, right? So if you would mind sharing, where are you at with your faith in yourself, in your business, product, all of those things? So where would you say you're at?
I think this is like a trial of faith in a sense, right? Where, every day you do the things, you're doing the actions, you're moving your feet, you're having the conversation, you're praying, you're reading your scriptures, your faith world and your business are not 2 separate entities. I fully believe that they are the same thing, and that this is just according to Paige, that you partner with God. And then I'm trying to think of everything straight, but in past calls where we've talked to just stop holding on to, I think we talked about it even last week, stop holding on desperately to what you have now, and just open your hands and pray to receive what is for whatever, for you and for your business, and instead of desperately just holding on, and I think of the saying, if you love someone or something, let it go. It's not that you're letting go, it's that you're almost giving up control. in a sense, right? You're just saying, I am here and I'm ready to receive what is going to come, but I'm also still going to have conversations and still talk to people, still move my feet, but I'm not holding so tightly onto the things that I have now just to maintain it. I want to be able to release and then have what is for me. And so that's kind of where I guess my faith is at.
Thank you.
Learning that.
When I realized, just I'm going to pipe in a bit here for a sec, but I realized that my faith or that desperation was there when I have some, you know, if I've been working with somebody even just a little bit, and then they kind of say to me, I'm so sorry, I don't want to let you down, right? And I realize, oh my goodness, I'm conveying a message that, you know, and then I have been very aware of that and say, oh, you know what, I would love to work with you, right? But if this, you know, isn't for you, then that's okay, right? Like, so it's one of those things where you totally have to understand that there's more people out there to, you know, network with and stuff like that. So definitely, for sure. Anyone else?
I think there's something about appearing needy that can be a real turnoff to people. So there's a difference between being enthusiastic and having a lot of energy when you're talking and passion over being that needy person and trying to almost manipulate people into joining you because you need them.
And I referenced this earlier, but I just wanted to kind of go over it. So like he keeps it simple when he asks people, right? And he said, I've signed up as a distributor with blank blank. Not sure if you've heard of them, but it's something I'm going to run with 100%. Would you be willing to check it out? That's it. Right? Like it doesn't get much more simple than that. And you don't have to commit to it or sign up, but please just check it out. Right. And then it gives you a chance to share and it's totally just, you know, providing that gift. Like you're literally just sharing that gift. Right. So anyone else want to share about their faith before we go on to the next one?
I'll just quickly share. In the beginning, I was afraid, like I had seen and heard the whole, just trust it will happen, just put it out into the universe and it will happen. And I was worried about falling into that. So I was like, do. And you can actually overdo, right? You can because sometimes you need to step back and trust the process. And if you have a lack of faith in the process, I think it's a balancing thing. We always have the two ditches and the goal is to drive in the middle of the road, right? So if you're only doing the work and you have no faith or belief in the process, but you're doing it, it's going to come across, like Lisa said, it's going to come across wrong in some way, shape, or form. And it's not going to sound good. It's not going to feel good. And at some point, there's only so much, you know, you can kind of do. And on the other ditch, if you're like, I'm just going to trust the process, you know, you have to have belief, but there's a difference between faith and belief, right? So you can have faith it's going to work out, but do you believe in that you're the one that's going to do it? Do you believe in the product? Do you believe in that? And so sometimes you have to take a step back and you have to learn. And I think it's dangerous to say either one of those statements. You either have to take a step back or you have to work, because depending on, there's people who are only taking steps back and they're like, I'm enjoying my time freedom. Sister, you haven't earned it yet. Like that's the reality. So working and doing all of the things, but also then trusting in it. So when I think of faith in this sense, it's just like genuinely having the faith in yourself, like, and in the company you're aligned with, and approaching people with that and enthusiasm. I think I was afraid to be enthusiastic. I'm a very excitable person. And sometimes like because I've 2 boys and my husband. And so sometimes I'm a little much for everyone around here. I'm like, I'm so excited. Like the smallest things excite me. And I get like so excited. My sister sent me this thing yesterday and she goes, this a reel, and she's like, literally, this is you with everyone. And she's like, and like Shrek sitting there, Donkey's like, and then this, and then this, and then this, and then this. And the other person's like, calm down, Donkey, calm down. And she's like, literally, this is you and everyone. But then when it comes to Plexus, I haven't wanted to seem like all whatever. So I've tried to be all like, yeah, chill, no problem. Like, yeah, you try it or not. It's all good. It's all good, right? So when people know I'm excitable about everything and I approach them that way, they're like, this smells wrong, right? So I don't know what my point is. I think the point is you have to be you have to be authentic. And that's been my journey with Faith, is trying to try it on and genuinely have the authentic. I'm very excited. I know this would help you. And if it's not your thing, that's okay. But oh my gosh, let's do it together, right?
Mhm. Thank you, Shelley. Anyone else have anything? Okay, so we're going to go on to enthusiasm. So we talked a little bit about that already. And it's like a magic wand, of course, and you can't really directly measure it, but people can feel it when you do your work with enthusiasm, right? It's a transference of energy and belief from one person to the other. Your enthusiasm then becomes part of them and they become enthusiastic alongside you, right? So naturally, when you see somebody that's enthusiastic and they're upbeat, you just feel this need to kind of be with them. Like you like to be with them because they're a bright light, just like Shelley, right? And we love you for it. And so enthusiasm is a big thing too. So I always think, exactly, Melinda, it draws you in. And it makes you say, okay, well, yeah, I definitely would like to be a part of that, right? So that's another important part in terms of, approaching your business with enthusiasm. Is it hard sometimes? Absolutely. Do we have to kind of get our head right before we can enthusiastically, share the gift, right? Because literally we are accepting this gift and we are giving this gift, right? And sharing it with others, right? I'm going to just kind of go on to the last one here. So action is a huge one, of course, right? And we talk a lot about this because we really all know what to do. It's just the matter of actually doing it, right? So action, simply going out there, doing the work, showing up every single day, putting in the hours, week after week, month after month, year after year, right? Positioning yourself as a leader in the things that you do, approaching your business with that faith, enthusiasm, and action. Those things are important, of course. And then that they know that you'd love to work with them, but you don't need them, right? And there's nothing more that you want, but you have something to offer, and you see that they might need it, and you see yourself as a leader, and of course, helping people come alongside you, right? So one thing I wanted to ask you to think about is, through the last few weeks of your business, even if with your content, even your messages, conversations, and all the things, do the people that you interact with see you as a leader? Is that the message you feel you're conveying? If not, of course, we want to make a commitment to shift what you say and share and things. So I'd love for everybody to share. If you think back to the last few weeks, do you feel like you convey yourself as the leader? And if not, why? I'll go first. If for me, I feel like I can be a leader more with the products. One thing that's always kind of that I'm working through is being a leader with the business, right? I'm needing to do more action and more business asks. and post more about the business. I've been posting more and I've made improvements, but I'm always room for more. But I find that I'm working on my own belief in myself every day for that leadership with the business, being able to have somebody join and let's get started kind of thing. So that's been something I've been working on. And with my posts, with my conversations, I'm getting there, and I'm really, stretching myself as best I can to position myself as a leader for the business. Money has always been some reason a wall for me, or just like I can't seem to feel the confidence to talk about that business and to be a leader with the business. Whereas I feel like I can be a leader with someone with the products. I feel confident in myself. I can take you and we can walk through together and stuff like that. It's still their journey, but it's something I've grown to be more confident with, right? Whereas I want to start leading with the business more, because if I want my business to grow, I have to focus on the business. Because like he has said, like I said, there was lots of punches in the gut and, and like kicks in the butt with this book. Every chapter is like, oh, the hits just keep coming, because it's just like more and more, it's like, well, I'm doing that wrong. And, not in a bad way, but just that awareness to be like, yeah, it makes sense. If you don't go fishing, if you're going fishing for something and you don't put any bait on your line, are you going to catch anything? No. So you kind of have to focus on the business and have that leadership quality and really put yourself out there to lead them. And plus you're doing it together. You only have to be one step ahead of the person that's joining you, right? One thing that I did do here, I just chatted with a level 1 who wanted to learn more about, earning the cruise and things like that. So we were chatting the other night, and she's actually she said for beginning of October, I want to talk again, and I want to set us, like, I've ever heard a level 1 talk like this. So this just excited me, because she's like, if you don't mind talking with me again in October, and I would like to create a plan together of how I'm going to earn this thing. I'm like, oh my gosh. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, do I know how to create a plan? But of course I do, but so it's not whether we know how to do it. It's just that I haven't exercised that muscle as much as I've exercised the other one, right? So I'm really, really focused on that. So thinking about you then, in terms of your own business, where are you at in terms of placing yourself as a leader? I'd love to hear. Sorry, I kind of went on too long.
Just went back and looked at my social media over the last couple of weeks just to see what it looked like. And I can tell in September there was a shift. Like after Gold School, there was a shift, and it was like, when Genevieve was like, you have to bait for, if you want big bass, you got to bait for big bass, right? Like, and it has shifted. So I don't know, but I have that personality where I'm like, I don't know, someone else needs to tell me if I look like a leader or not. Do you know what I mean? I struggle with that. I do. And it can be easy to be like, well, I don't know, Trina, go to my social media and tell me if I look like a leader or not. Do you know? And part of me wants to be like, to say that. But I think, like, if I could say yes, like, I think I do. I don't want to second guess myself. I do all the time. And that is something to work on. Right. But it's like, I think so. Yeah. I mean, when it comes to this, you just have to be like a couple steps ahead. So in that sense, yes, I am a leader because I am a couple steps ahead than somebody who hasn't started building a business. So if I were to just even think of that, yes. And then is my social media kind of showing that too, then I would say yes. At the same time, just go look at it and tell me. I'm kidding. But yes, I think.
Well, I think the thing we forget is, in order to be cued as a, or to be seen as a leader, you literally need to know between 1% and 5% more, right? We all know how to lead. We've led our kids, there's different people. So if you're a scared leader and you're showing up here, these are the people you are going to attract. And I'm not trying to be crass, I'm just being very honest. If you want to bring in high quality people that are going to run with this business, you need to lead here so they'll match that. You want your people to become better than you. There should be no drama in that, right? And so we think we have to have it all figured out. We think a leader is extroverts that have it all figured out and have shiny personalities. And I had one boss and he said, the best leader, he goes, when I walk into a room, and he was a CEO and he'd been headhunted by a lot of different companies. He'd done a lot of things. And he goes, when I walk into a room, I know that I'm in the best room with the best leader when there's a meeting going and it's organized and well run and I can't tell who's running it. Right? It shouldn't always be obvious. You just need to lead with the confidence and you need to have the knowledge. You do not need to have a certain personality. You need to be willing to say, I'm a leader. What does it take to lead people, to ask questions, to do that kind of thing? And so I think we get freaked out with leader and I can't lead people. Essentially, they're responsible for them. And we said this on the meeting last night. At the end of the day, they're responsible for their journey. A lot of us have uplines that have evaporated, right? I think most of us here actually, except for maybe Tara, have a direct upline we started with that is not supporting us. We're figuring it out. They will too. They do not need you, but it will benefit you and them if you can lead them. So go figure out what you need to do, right? Like that's kind of.
Anyone else have anything?
I think the challenge for me has been to not focus on what I don't know or my weaknesses as a leader, but to focus on more my strengths and allow the other things to come along, as you grow in your strengths and using your strengths. So yeah, that's a challenge.
Yeah, it's like what you focus on grows. And we learn this in basic mindset. If you focus on all the negative things of the day, that'll happen. And some people say they have a natural negative bent. And I don't necessarily see that. I think we all have a natural negative bent because we have to survive. And we do have a bit of a survival brain, right? But with Lisa is like, I'm okay with doing things subpar. I'm in a lot of areas, I just am. I do not have to have the cleanest house. I do not have to have the best cookie recipe. I'm okay being average. And that's hard to admit. Lisa really can take anything and make it better, right? Which is a giant skill, like a huge skill, right? Because she can take something that I think is amazing and add that one idea that takes it top floor. But at the same time, then when you look at yourself that way, you never feel ready to lead. I'm not ready to lead yet because I need to learn. You're never going to be ready to lead. We need to learn to apologize for the mistakes we make to the people when we make them, because we're going to make them. And if you just learn that, like, oh, apologizing is really not a big deal. I'm sorry, I'm learning. People will have grace for that, right? So that's a huge one, Lisa. And that's a really good, thank you for bringing that up, because I think that's a thing a lot of people can relate to, right?
And I find too, a lot of times when you place yourself as the leader, you do put this pressure on yourself to have all the answers. And yet that's really not the reality of it. It's that we are going to find the answers together, right? Like even just this morning, like in our chat, that's probably one of the biggest gifts. Another one of the biggest gifts I've had just in this business and in this experience with this community has just been incredible. Like being able to go in and ask a question about something and just be poured into about things. And it's just like unbelievable. Right. And it's always so comforting knowing that you're doing this for yourself, but never by yourself. And, but when it comes to being a leader, and so for me, sometimes I would get caught up in the fact that I would think to myself, geez, I don't know what to do. And it's like, there must be a better way, or this or that, or you know what I mean? And you just think there must be something, a secret that I don't know. And yet there's never a secret. It's all just like, we all have what we need. to do what we need to do to be successful in the business. And my husband and I, when I was chatting with him the other night, and I alluded to this a little bit last night, but that's it. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Kira.
Finish your thought. It looks like she's driving.
Oh, okay. Okay. Sorry. I misunderstood. But he kind of had said to me, and I find sometimes our husbands kind of give us information that is hard to hear at the time. So I was very quiet because basically, long story short, he feels like I take in a lot of info. I'm really good at taking in info and training and all the things. And then he said, so where's the action? And I was like, ooh, right? And I'm like, so, but good point, right? So I chewed on that for the rest of the evening. We didn't talk much after that because I was just like, oh, but it was true, right? So, because he says, you know what to do, you know all the things, but it sounds like you're not doing them. And I'm like, ooh, boy. So anyway, but it's true. And it's one of those things that we all kind of go through, right? And once it took me to the next day before I'm like, okay, he's right. You know, yeah, they just lay it out exactly, Paige. And it was so good, but you're right. Like, you know, some of those hard truths that just, they like hit me hard, right? But at the same time was so good because I realized, yeah, no, I don't need to, obviously I need to grow my belief in myself because that's where I'm lacking because the action's lacking, right? Like when we talk about, okay, I'm not doing this or this or this, I'm not doing my business asks. Like business asks are things I don't do. I'll be honest. Like I don't do them. And do I know I need to? Absolutely. Am I scared to? Absolutely. Right. So I need to figure that out. And but my belief in myself to offer that up and, you know, is where I've got to work. So I've been working on that and I'm realizing, okay, you know, because he kind of said, you know, he's like, what's your goal? And things like that. And like he would sit down with me and lay out a plan and be like, okay, well, how are you going to get there? Like, how are these successful people getting to where they want to be? So anyways, I'm working on a plan at the moment. So, all right, Tiara, we're ready for you if you're ready for us.
Okay, yes, I am ready. Just quickly changing the movie for my girls that she won't get annoying here. So just about this whole leadership thing, on my way to town while I was listening to you guys, I was thinking like in my elementary years, like probably like kindergarten to grade 3-ish, I was a leader like of my friends. Like I like to be whatever. I like to be the leader and they let me be the leader for some reason. But and then going into high school especially, then I really faded back and I got very insecure. And I kind of like to just hang low instead of being the leader that I used to be. And so now with Plexus, now I'm trying to get back out of the woods and trying to be a leader again. And I'm finding it sometimes very hard. Like, how often do I reach out to this person? How far do I push them? Like, how do I know when to lay back and when to like give them a little nudge? Like just those little things. And I very often just get very wrapped up in my head about it and I overthink it. And so I am just trying to, I will do it soon, Noah. Trying to just figure that out and figure out that balance. But even with my daughter, like she is a leader. And my mom's cousin, they are missionaries in Montana, but they are currently living here because of her mom being sick and stuff. And she loves Noah because she sees herself in Noah and being like she is a leader and she sees Noah being a leader. And when my mom told me that about her cousin LaDawn, when she said that, I was like, oh shoot, because now I have to try to lead this leader kid, and I'm not even sure how to do that. But yeah, so I am reading a lot of books, and this specific one, The Built to Last, is really good. And just, yeah, trying to find my confidence in leading again, in not only my business, but at home too with my girl.
That's really good. There's another really good podcast comes to my mind from Kristen Boss, and I'll see if I can find it. And it's on the qualities of a leader. She has a whole section on qualities of a leader, and they're really helpful because it really helps you break down what it is and not being a fake, like she has the cheerleader leader where you're just always cheering everyone on, but there's like nothing beyond that. It's just really good. I won't say what she can say way better, but if that's your struggle, just reach out and say, I'm looking for podcasts, looking for something, and there's resources. And thank you very much for sharing that. We were trying to keep this to an hour, which is now, but I forgot one thing. I wanted to wrap up chapter 5, so I'm going to say that, and I'll let Trina wrap the whole thing up if she has anything else. Page 72 is the most important thing probably in this book. Can I do this is the wrong question. Everyone here can do this. Like, you can. And if you had to, like, for some reason, if it was like, you have to figure this out today, you would sit down, you would figure it out, you move forward, you would make it happen, right? Are you willing to do what it takes to become the person? And a lot of people say yes, but no, are you willing to do what it takes? What does it take? People will judge you. People will laugh at you. You're going to make mistakes. People are going to come at you and say you're a bad leader. I've had 2 customers recently accuse me of bad customer. Well, one accused me of just bad customer service. And I'm just like, and when I look at everything I do, no, she just wants something that's not realistic and she's not accessing what's there. I could let that crumble me. I'm not going to, right? You will have people come at you. You will have people, like, it will be hard. You're going to have to do things that make you uncomfortable. You're going to have to sacrifice time. You're going to have to miss some things. You're going to have to say no to some people, and they're the people pleaser. Like, there's going to be something. Are you actually willing to do that because you believe you deserve this? Like, you deserve this. And I think there's 2 things. Are you willing to do the work? And can you see yourself there? Like Paige said, can you see yourself there? And you have to be able to see yourself there. You have to vision yourself there. You have to want to be there. You have to believe you deserve to be there. And then you have to fill in the gaps, right? So can you do it? Yes. Lisa, Melinda, Kelly, Tiara, Rachel, Paige, Trina, Shelley, we can all do this. We all have what it takes to be diamonds. Are we willing to become that person because we believe we're worthy and we're taking the spotlight off ourselves and thinking of how many people out there we can help? That's my final thought. Trina?
Yes, I echo all that as well. And I'm glad you mentioned it because I was thinking the same thing, Shelley. So that was good. But yes, I want to leave you with this thought, and then we'll let you go. And I thank you all for being here. We value you all, and we loved spending this time with you. I want to leave you with this. So it kind of basically goes off of what Shelley was already saying, but am I willing to do what it takes to become the person I need to become? The reality is that you can't do it right now as we are. You can't do it with your current level of skills. If you could, we'd already be there or on our journey, because we're never really fully arrive. But once you shift that question, right, and we say, I can, I will, I am, right, which is something I've been saying daily to try and pour that belief into myself. So am I willing to do what it takes, but also am I willing to do what it takes to become the person I need to become? So I want you to ponder on that and think about that, and go on and have a most blessed day. And I hope that you found some value in this today. And like I said, we love you, care for you, cheering you on, and we can't wait to see you again soon. So have a great day, everyone.